Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. We are back.
It's
We're back from a
it's
short break.
been yes, it's been a while since we've done a live, and so it's time for us to chat again. And we've been busy running around. Devot's been out of the country, so he's got something to tell us about his travels. Um, so yes, tell us a little, Devot. Where have you been and what you've been doing?
Okay, so I got invited by the Horticultural Development Council of Zimbabwe, the HDC, by Linda and her team, to come and help them prepare the growers for looking at possible market access for their avocados to China.
Okay, so it's been interesting, and I think there's a lot that you can tell us about, but maybe we should save that for a proper discussion a little bit later. So as we normally do, let's have a look at the news. So the citrus season has started, and we know that during last year there was a change that the port terminal will be run by an external private company now. Can you remember the name? I don't know if you've got
Oh,
it there.
goodness me, I can't remember the name now.
Yes, but it's Filipino-based company from the Philippines, and they have taken over. The contract has been granted to them to run one of the main container port terminals in Durban. So now the new citrus season is starting, and we've got one of the articles that we found this morning. There's Durban port equipment failure is a worry. So let's open the article and see what we've got here. Okay. Only 7 out of 16 ship-to-shore cranes are operational at Durban Container Port, which are, remarked an independent logistics advisor, nowhere near enough, and the straddle carrier issue is continuing, he says. It is very disturbing that we often have about 55 straddle carriers available, though 67 are planned to be available by mid-June. Such equipment shortages result in exactly what we don't want, issues on the land side when trying to get containers delivered. So the problem seems...
Does it look like the offloading or the loading onto the ships?
Let's see what... I'm not 100% sure. Let's see what it says here. Reefer containers are prioritized through a dedicated reefer lane and a helpline, and the terminals do try to look after these reefers, he said. The port is reasonably busy during reefer-wise, well over 1,000 in stack at Durban Container Terminal and another 600 at Pier 1. Pier 1 is really struggling with truck turnaround times. So the peak of the citrus...
those are things that we spoke about when we chatted to Mitchell.
Yes.
But are they plan on changing routes and bring the trains in there and all those things?
Yeah. The peak of citrus volumes moving through Durban is 5 to 6 weeks away. We are really concerned about the port specifically. We really hope the situation improves by June. Otherwise, the citrus export season could be badly impacted. Much of the equipment at Durban Container Terminal is way past its sell-by date, he notes, while others have suffered engine failures due to reaching midlife. So the problems continue in the Durban port, and the citrus is coming. So here we go. This is what I referred to earlier, Pier 2 privatization in limbo. The handover of Pier 2 management to ICTSI is still in limbo, pending the outcome of APM's terminal legal contest. So I know that AP Muller was contesting the granting of the contract. It's all up in the air. We are hoping it will be a done deal by the end. We were hoping it would be a done deal by the end of last year or latest April 2024. We're now in May 2024, towards the end. He observed, we've got to keep moving with what we've got, and it's not enough. It's very concerning, and they're struggling with many issues. The alternative to Durban on fruit destined to the Middle East and non-steri markets is Maputo, but in his opinion, Durban still offers a number of advantages. One main cost difference with Maputo is cargo dues, wharfage, where the South African rate is lower on exports than imports. Also, he pointed out trucks are often able to pick up and return a load to Durban Container Port. A load in both directions is a real saving. So this is an ongoing problem, and the fact that that there's this legal contest which is stopping the handover is bad news for the citrus industry.
Yeah, well, and the fact that it's election week is also not helping with that.
No.
Yeah, because there are many cogs turning at the moment. So for those who don't know, Wednesday is our election day. So hopefully, and I've listened to quite a few things could change, but we don't know yet for the better or for the worst.
Yes. So it's one of those. We kind of all holding our breath a little till the election is over. But yeah, so things like this are hanging in the balance, and we don't have answers on this. And the citrus is coming, whether the port is sorted out or not. The citrus is coming. So
yeah. Then the other interesting one that we found was this one. South African growers look to diversify, and this is about the planting of avocados in the Western Cape, which we've followed closely, but it's difficult to get into any of these. We've been into one or two of these plantations in the Western Cape, but nothing to write home about yet, or that we can show for our efforts.
Well, I think one needs to take it back a little bit further in that traditionally, avocados was always just seen as a tropical fruit, which means that in South African context, it would be produced in the north of the country. The Western Cape was always seen far more as is a Mediterranean region. So it kind of stuck mostly to grapes, apples, pears, and stone fruit. Citrus is obviously, and citrus. The citrus orchards have multiplied rapidly in the Western Cape, as have the blueberry plantings. And in the last, say, 10 years, we've been hearing quite a lot about avocados being planted in the Western and Southern Cape. So this is a whole new ballgame to suddenly be having avocados down here amongst the deciduous fruit. But this is a growing trend. So it's interesting that this is happening.
If you look at, we've got many friends, and it's almost every second house that you walk into, there's an avo tree standing in their back garden, or when you start to look you can see them picking out over the fences and the walls. And so they are not being farmed, yet they are doing well. They are growing, they're producing. So if you could farm them and give them the proper attention that they need, why can't you produce a very good crop from them?
For sure. What I'm saying is that this was traditional wisdom. It was like people, as you say, the avo tree is growing in your garden, but traditionally farmers just thought, oh, well, avos can't be done here. But there you go. In the garden, there's the tree. So it's interesting that this is starting to happen more and more. Do you want to take this article, Dewald? You want to talk a little bit more about it?
Okay. The Cape region has already reported the planting of 1,000 hectares of avocados, which is now contributing about 5% of the national crop, it is in a grand scheme of things for a non-avo producing area pretty significant, I would say. Growers are coming down to the Western and Southern Cape. In some cases, this is driven by climate change, and in other new categories, which just never previously been seriously considered. Also, there's the fact of the theft happening up north, where I know that there are big theft syndicates coming in to steal avocados, and the Western and Southern Cape could be a little bit safer for that, because those avos were just simply trucked across the border into Mozambique and then sold on the black market, which is, I think, that would be less of the case down here in the Western Cape. But it's still not unlikely that it could happen. the article, the Cape has always been a dominant blueberry region, is likely to stay so for some time. However, in recent years, rapid expansion has taken place in the north of the country, with the industry now able to supply export markets over longer periods. That's on blueberries. Once South Africa gets across to major consumer markets in the east, such as India and China, the expansion in the northern regions is expected to continue because they are likely ideally suited to supply these markets from the country's eastern ports. That is blueberries. Now, I know that China is looking for people to supply them in between August to October, August and November, which is roughly when the best part of the South African blueberry season is.
Yes.
Another example is the fact that avocado production is now spreading to the Southern and Western Cape regions. In these regions, the harvest is between October and December, even January, which offers growers the opportunity to market their fruit much later than in the past. And from what I understand, it's also a window where the traditional South African markets is empty because they would finish harvested like July, August, I would say.
So the harvest timing and the marketing, the opportunity to be marketing it at that time is significant. And that is probably one of the reasons why people are looking at that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. While the scale of production of traditional categories is so large that these new developments may appear insignificant, they are nevertheless important. Growth of production in these regions not only boosts supplies during what used to be traditional off-season, like we mentioned, also enables exports towards the end of the year, which was not possible before. It also has made South Africa self-sufficient in avocados for the local market. Also, from what I've recently learned, is that all avocados goes to the Western Cape. So being closer to the port will definitely help as well. You need to truck it from up country down to the Cape to get it out of the country.
Yes.
You see the Mediterranean climate. This is from Derek Duncan, Subtrop CEO. The Mediterranean climate in countries around the world are all avocado regions, and it is natural that growers there will also plant avocados, he explained. So from where I was now in Zimbabwe, in the Eastern Islands, it's very similar climate to here. It's quite tropical, but it's not hot. It's cool. And those avocado trees are incredible there. Latest information indicates that avocado orchards are now also established in Helderberg Basin near Somerset West and in Riebeek Kasteel near the Berg River in the Western Cape. Okay. There's now 15 hectares of avocados on the Lawrenceford estate, which is managed by the Karsten Group.
Somerset West, my goodness.
And if anybody said to you there's going to be avocado orchards in Somerset West, would you have believed them 15 years ago?
No, definitely not. So it's interesting, you know, as they say, there's always something new, something that one can take note of. So there you go, avocados growing in the Western Cape.
Yeah, we've actually written a little article about this on our blog like 3 years ago, and that article is still being watched almost on a daily basis.
Yes.
There's interest in it. People are very interested in avocados in the Western Cape.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well, those are the two articles we looked at discussing today. It's probably been about a month and a half or 2 months since we did a live. So it's like picking up the pieces again, and we hope there are people watching, and we hope you enjoy watching us as much as we enjoy doing this.
Yeah, and hopefully, I don't want to make promises, but let's hope we can do this again as often as we did last year.
Yes, indeed. Okay, well, have a wonderful week, and let's hope the election week goes well for everyone.
Yep, here we go. Bye.
Bye.